Welcome, everybody, to Football Discussion Daily. My name is Joe, and I'm here with the co-host,
CGO.
CGO, or George. Today is the 10th of March, 2026, and we are talking about Champions League results. Liverpool went to Istanbul and lost to Galatasaray 1-0. Newcastle drew Barcelona at home. Barcelona got bailed by a last-minute penalty. Which was legitimate, and they scored it, but they kind of got bailed out. Atletico Madrid beat Tottenham at home 5-2. Controversy in this game. Atletico scored 3 goals in the first 17 minutes. 2 of them were a direct result of slips by the keeper. One was a direct result as a slip from another Tottenham player. Credit to Atletico for taking advantage. The keeper, who was young, it was his first ever Champions League game, possibly his last ever, was taken off after the third goal after 17 minutes, and it was not a good look on the coach at all. George and I will talk about that. And then, of course, Bayern beat Atalanta 6-1. Also a last-minute goal by Atalanta, but this was in Italy, in Atalanta, not in Germany, so they still have to go back to Germany. George, let's talk Atletico Tottenham, because this game was probably the most interesting to talk about. There's 3 goals in the first 17 minutes. There were 2 slips by the keeper. Do you feel like the coach needs to take the keeper out in this situation, where it's a young keeper, it's his first ever Champions League game? He scores 2. There's 2 goals against him that were clearly a result of slips. Players were slipping all over the field. It was not just him, but obviously as the keeper, it's more impactful. Do you feel like it was right of the coach to take him off?
Now, the first mistake Igor Tudor made was even starting the guy. Because this guy, this game is his debut in the Champions League. This is a knockout stage. It's a very critical point. You don't take such kind of risk because you have your number 1 goalkeeper, Vicario, on the bench. Why put him on the bench? So he started by starting the young man. So since you've started him, what it shows is that you have confidence in the keeper, Kiski. Now, he made 2 errors that led to a goal, and then he considered 3 goals within the first 17 minutes. Pulling him out so early, you even kill his morale, you kill his confidence, because the excuse the coach gave was he was trying to save him from maybe further embarrassment. But when you do that as a coach, you just kill the confidence of the player. So for me, the coach, number 1, shouldn't have even started the guy at this stage of the competition. And then number 2, since you've given him that start, it means you have confidence in the guy. You should have allowed him to complete the game, or at least even finish the first half, instead of just pulling him out in the first 70 minutes. I don't think we've seen anything like this in the Champions League before. This is
Never.
highly embarrassing, if I must tell you.
I've seen it once or twice with outfield players where a coach realizes he gets it wrong 15 minutes in and pulls out like a player and puts in a midfielder for a back line. That happens, or a player thought he was good, and then 10 minutes into a game he realizes, no, my hamstring's not ready. It's almost never a keeper, and I feel like it's better to lose 6-0 and have more goals on that keeper than to take him off after 17 minutes. I feel like it's an awful look. You're already not going to win the tie. Like, you're salvaging talent for next year. You're salvaging confidence for a Premier League run. It's just it's a cascading effect with other players' confidence when you take out a keeper. Vicario is not high confidence to begin with either. It's not like it's Allison on the bench here. Vicario is, a little more experienced, but not an all-star in and of himself. So I agree with you, George. I feel like it was a bad move to start him, and an even worse move to take him off.
Yes, I've never seen a goalkeeper taking off just within 17 minutes in the Champions League. I think this is the first time we have seen that. From history, this is the first time we have seen a goalkeeper starting a game, not taking off because of injury, but because of performance. It was pulled out. This is the first time I'm seeing it in the Champions League. It is very, very embarrassing.
I watched the first goal also had a slip from another player. The second goal, I think the Griezmann goal, I watched the entire build-up. There was 3 slips by different Tottenham players in that build-up that led to that goal. Griezmann had a great finish. That was the one I don't think was, I believe, there's so many goals, I think I'm getting this right, but that was the one goal where Kinski was not at fault for. But three other Tottenham players slipped in the build up to that goal, and Griezmann had a wide open shot. So, do you blame the pitch in situations like this?
You don't use pitch as an excuse because it's 11-11. So there is no excuse because I'm telling you, if an Arsenal team has played in this game today, they are not losing that game. I can tell you that for sure. So it shows that the Tottenham team is not a good team. The team is poor and they are poor in confidence. And this will definitely impact even in their performance in the Premier League. The way they are going, it seems things is moving from bad to worse. That's the situation with Tottenham at the moment.
Yeah. There are rumors too that well, first off, Tottenham in the 143-year history have never lost 6 games in a row. This is the first time ever.
Yes.
And so, George, I actually believe that Sunday they're going to break that because they're going to have 7 games in a row that they've lost because they're playing Liverpool. It's a joke. Um, there's rumors now that Igor Tudor, not Igor
Tudor.
Thiago, Igor Tudor, very different than Igor Thiago. Maybe their Tottenham board are considering sacking him. Do you feel like that's a good move?
For me, I don't think it's a good move because bringing in a new manager at this stage, I don't know what difference that manager is going to, because the manager will come in his time to make changes. So for me, they should just allow Igor Tudor to see what he can do, how to fix things. Since he's already there, I'm sure you'll be able to observe areas that needs improvement. But bringing in a new manager and starting all over afresh, and you don't have all the old time of the world. You are battling with relegation already. So if you bring in a new coach, that coach needs time. And maybe before he will find his feet, you're already relegated. So for if I'm to give my own opinion, I think they should allow Igor Tudor to just handle the
Yeah.
rest of the season.
It's interesting. I mean, I feel like Tottenham are in this position because of multiple bad decisions by multiple
Yes,
bad people over 5-year period, and that Igor Tudor is asked to turn around the Titanic in 2 months, and that's not going to happen. But I look at a team, George, like Wolves, who had no reason to sack their manager in December, but for the sake of next season, they brought in a guy who could turn around the mentality of that team and did, and they're still going to go down. They're going to go down with pride, and I feel like it's possible. I don't see Igor Tudor. I've watched his post match and pre match conferences. I've watched his body language around the players. When Kinski walked off, it did not look good. I think if you bring in like a Ryan Mason or somebody like that, the culture of the club is most important, more important than even going down or staying up. Having being able to leave this season with heads held high and spank whether it's the championship next year or whatever. I feel like they need to do that, and I could be justified. Tottenham board has made a lot of bad decisions. I don't feel like Igor Tudor's appointment and or sacking is in the grand scheme of things the most consequential decision over the last 3 years when it comes to Spurs possibly getting relegated. And at this point, I think they got to be favorites to get relegated.
honestly, the team is really very shambolic in their performance.
Yeah,
I'm very worried for Tottenham because this is a team that has lots of followers in the world. So they going through this period is not something that is quite encouraging at all. It's highly disappointing. I'm sure most of their fans will be very, very unhappy with the board. That's what I feel.
yeah. Hi, George. Let's talk about 2 games that I think were one was probably should have been an upset, and the other one very clearly was an upset. We'll talk about Galatasaray Liverpool. This game, Liverpool were very much on top. Osherman, kind of created some space, and I don't think he actually scored the goal, but he created the space for it, and they scored. After that, it was a pretty even game where both teams had chances, but Liverpool, I think, went back to like they didn't really create after very much being on top. Um, they lost. I'll just call out one of us predicted that could happen last night. I still think Liverpool come back to Anfield, but George, do you have any thoughts on is this just a one off? Is this something that like what are your thoughts on this match?
We won't say it's a one-off because remember this team already defeated them in the group phase,
Yeah,
1-0. They at Istanbul. So going back to Istanbul, Liverpool won't tell me they don't know what Galatasaray will be up to because you played against them, they defeated you, and now you went there again and you still suffered another defeat in the hands, even though it's a slim margin. I know in that game, Igo Ekitike had a very clear chance, and I was expecting him to convert that chance, but he lost it, and then Van Dijk scored a goal that the VAR overruled because they said the ball, Ibrahim Kanote, his hand touched the ball. It's not that,
It did touch the ball. That was
yes,
a
yes,
legit, you know.
yes, it was legit. So the issue is that Galatasaray didn't outplay Liverpool. For me, Liverpool were the better side. If you look at the whole game in full, Liverpool were the better side. But unfortunately, the few chances they had, they couldn't convert it. Galatasaray converted the chance they had. They even scored a goal through Victor Osimhen, but it was overruled for offside. So the goal that led, the move that led to that goal was an offside move. So the goal was overruled. But I still believe Liverpool still has opportunity to redeem their image when they
You
get
know,
to Anfield.
I didn't watch this game because I have a job. I did watch the extended highlights again, and Osimhen is way. I don't judge him as a person for deciding to go to Turkey for more money, but like as a player, like his legacy, like he's just too good for this level of Turkey. He could start almost anywhere in Europe. He was very impressive for me. A menace throughout this game and creator of the first goal. So
Yes, he provided what gave the assist to the goal by Lamina. That is
yeah,
Mario Lamina. Yeah, he provided
uh,
the assist. So the guy is a very good player. I feel after this season, he will most likely leave Galatasaray. That's very, very most likely
I
that will
know that
happen.
when he left Napoli, he said he was going to go to the highest bidder and very much did. Um, and I just don't feel like the Premier League teams are willing to pay him Holland money because of his age, and even though he is, I think, up there with Holland quality, maybe not that level. I have to see him much more consistently, but he has a very good track record.
No. That guy is a very good striker because if you look
Yeah,
at the top five strikers in the world, I believe Victor Osimhen is one of those strikers that can bang in goals for you, give you what you need as a
there's
front man.
there's
So
very few teams that would not improve. Man
yes.
City, Bayern are probably about the only two, maybe Madrid, but there's very few teams he would not improve.
So the guy really did very well today. Was a very big threat to Liverpool in this game. For me, he did so well in this game. Gave Liverpool defense a very big fight, and he was able to help his team to win this game. So this game was won because of the impact he made in the game. If not,
Yeah,
maybe Galatasaray would have struggled. So when you play against strikers like Osimhen as a central defender, you must be on your toes if you want to stop him because that guy, especially when it comes to balls that comes to area balls, that guy has a very, very good strength when it comes to jumping. So he's a fantastic player, and I'm hoping that he will move to one of the at least top three league next coming season. That's what I'm hoping for. He's a very
I
good
mean,
player.
obviously, I agree that playstyle wise, he has that ability level to do that. I think that what he wants personally, he's not going to because he's prioritizing money in his career. Which again, I'm not critical of him as a person. I think good for him. I do that in my career, but I can judge his legacy as a player for that, and I feel like it wouldn't be as great as if he made other choices. And that's his prerogative. Good for him. Um, but George, okay, last game, or sorry, we I don't. There's not much to talk about at Bayern Atalanta. I'll just touch upon it real quick. Bayern were awesome. Atalanta were naive. They're a very technical and skilled team, but they were very naive. Police is fantastic. Harry Kane's amazing. I don't know what to say.
Harry Kane was even benched in this game. Harry Kane didn't even play. They used Nicolas Jackson as their number nine in this game. Harry Kane was rested for this game, and yet Bayern were able to score six goals against Atalanta. It's very obvious that they're already in the quarterfinal because I don't see how Atalanta can go to the Allianz Arena and overturn things. That will be a very big miracle if that happens. So
Yeah, yeah.
for me, Bayern Munich is just there in the quarterfinals, if you ask me. So they'll be
Fantastic.
waiting for the winner between Real Madrid and Manchester City. That's what they'll be waiting for
I'm
because they
sure
already,
they're
yeah.
excited. All right, George. Last game to discuss Newcastle versus Barcelona. I only saw the goals. I've read that 1-0 to Newcastle would have been a fair scoreline. I thought that Malik Thial bailed out Barcelona with a bad tackle. What were your thoughts on this game?
Honestly, Newcastle deserve to win this game, but lack of concentration at the tail end of the game costed Newcastle. Malik Thiaw, I would have done better, but he made a very terrible error by bringing down Danny Olmo, and that was how a penalty was awarded to Barcelona because that's a clear penalty. It's not something that is debatable. It was an obvious
No,
penalty. So
I think
Malik
the
Thiaw,
decision was stupid. I'm not the penalty decision was great, but the yeah,
yes, Malik Thiaw made a very terrible mistake. He let down the team by committing such kind of foul at the tail end of the game because if he has been focused, I don't think he would have committed that blunder. And then we had Lamine Yamal converting the penalty, and that was the last kick of the game. That was how Barcelona were able to secure a draw, which means going back to Nou Camp, Newcastle is going to be a very, very difficult one for them because if they had a 1-0 win going to Nou Camp, maybe that would have given them much confidence as they go to Spain. But with the way things are, even their fans, they were all disappointed. Even the players were disappointed. The draw was like a loss to them because they knew they played so well and they deserved to win that game. But fortunately, it didn't turn out that way. So,
I
uh,
think Barcelona would have won anyway next week in Camp Nou. Like if you look at their record over the years, they've always I don't know how many games they've lost at Camp Nou in the Champions League over the last 10 years. It's not many. It's maybe two or three. Like they are, especially in knockouts, they are very good. They've really struggled away. We've seen them lose some big leads in the second leg a couple times. And but they're fantastic at home. Just like I feel like Liverpool are very tough to beat at Anfield. I don't know how many times they've lost at home in the Champions League over the last 10 years. I remember one or two, but the Liverpool are also very difficult to beat at home. So I don't think Galatasaray. I still think Liverpool are favored to go through in that tie. I would even up 1-0. I would think that Barcelona is would be the big favorite at their at home, even if they were down 1-0. But we'll see.
but 1-0, if they had won 1-0, like it's better than going there just with a draw. And
Of
then you
course.
going to Nou Camp. That's much that you are giving yourself much work, much difficult task. That's what
Yeah.
well, Newcastle will have to face now going to Nou Camp. For me, I feel Barcelona will scale through because they are the one I was tipping to scale through to the next stage.
We'll see, George. We'll see. That's why they play the games. All right, George, let me just close out with the standard questions. For one, do you feel like it's ever justified to take off a keeper 17 minutes into a game? George and I both agree better to lose 6-0. I think. Number two, which result surprised you the most? I mean, Bayern obviously winning was not a surprise. Winning 6-1 maybe surprising. I think Atletico Madrid, same thing. Winning isn't a surprise. The manner and the margin was a surprise. Obviously, Galatasaray and Newcastle getting results, a little bit of an upset there. Which of those surprised you the most? And which game are you most excited for on Wednesday? Is it PSG Chelsea? I'm sure that's George's thoughts. I probably Man City Real Madrid. I never get sick of these repeat matchups. I think it's slightly different flavor every year, and this is a brand new City team. I mean, not brand new City team, but different wrinkle for City and Madrid this year than previous matchups. And obviously, Pep is a brilliant coach. Arbeloa, I think, could be as well, but not yet. All right, thanks for listening. We'll see y'all tomorrow.